A few weeks ago, we covered the third season of the most entertaining bloodbath on television, Game of Thrones. We heard all about how the cast and crew pulled off the epic Red Wedding and said goodbye to even more pivotal characters. How could season 4 ever top it? Well, it did, and then some. Think you know the whole story? Think again. I'm Jillian Leff with Cinematica, and we're here to give you the inside scoop on how Game of Thrones got even crazier in season 4. From Lannister family drama to, you guessed it, game-changing deaths, our heads were left spinning. Whether you're a diehard fan or just wondering what all the fuss is about, we've got something for everyone as we count down the 107 facts you should know about Game of Thrones Season 4. Let's get started. Number 1. Game of Thrones Season 4 aired from April 6 to June 15, 2014. The premiere was seen by 6.6 million viewers at its 9 p.m. time slot, making it the most watched episode of George R.R. Martin's epic up to that point. Number 2. So far, Game of Thrones has been tackling about a book per season. However, the third novel, A Storm of Swords, was so massive that they decided to split it in half with Season 3, covering just the first part. As a result, Season 4 really corresponds with Book 3, Part 2, adapting the original climaxes of that novel. Number 3. When Martin first set out writing the massive fantasy series, it was only meant to be a trilogy. He decided to make it even longer by splitting the first novel, A Game of Thrones, into 3 books, encompassing A Clash of Kings and A Storm of Swords. That's why, wrapping up Book 3, Season 4 sees the resolution of a lot of storylines kicked off in Season 1. Number 4. Showrunners David Benioff and D.B. Weiss have said that, compared to the preceding seasons, this one contains the most action per capita. We're interpreting that as everything you hold dear is even less sacred than it already wasn't. Number 5. Prior to the release of the season, HBO greenlit an album of Game of Thrones-inspired hip-hop songs titled Catch the Throne, which was posted to SoundCloud for free. This mixtape isn't just fire, it's also ice. Boom. Drops mic. Number 6. Telltale's Game of Thrones game runs concurrently with the season, picking up after that part of Season 3 and running all the way to Season 5. Keeping spoilers to a minimum here, it follows House Forrester through a lot of familiar locations and events and encounters with familiar faces. Number 7. Executive story editor Brian Cogman was promoted to co-producer this season. He had previously gained his executive title for Season 3. He's climbing that ladder awfully quickly. Looks like someone is playing the Game of Thrones. Number 8. If you look at Cogman's name in the opening credits, the symbol next to it is actually that of a vomiting maester. This is a jab from Benioff and Weiss, alluding to the time Cogman had a bit too much to drink at a rap party and, well, you know where this is going. Number 9. Kit Harington notes that this is a big season for Jon Snow, with one of his most marked developments being his increase in dialogue. Jon Snow is typically the strong silent type, so Harington recalls how weird it was for him to actually give a speech. Number 10. Someone actually put together a list of lines per character, and at this season's finale, Jon Snow is up to 489, trailing behind Daenerys and Cersei in 3rd and 2nd place respectively. First place is, of course, Tyrion, who trounces the competition with 1,002 lines, more than twice Jon Snow's. Number 11. Game of Thrones can often be a humorless ordeal, but nothing was less funny than HBO's April Fool's Day prank on fans. They said Peter Dinklage would not be appearing in Season 4 and that they would be taking on a new direction with Tyrion by recasting him with Warwick Davis. First of all, don't toy with us like that. Second of all, Warwick is pretty great too. If you want to make jokes, say you're recasting Tyrion as Jaden Smith. Number 12. The co-creators also played a prank on Gwendolyn Christie. They showed her a New York Times article that accused her of being snobby for not signing a fan's autograph. The article, the fan, and the non-autograph were all fake. Hilarious, you evil bastards. Just hilarious. Number 13. An actual recast, though, Mikael Huisman usurps Ed Skrein as Dario this season. Hailing from Dutch television, the actor has also had roles in shows like Nashville and Orphan Black, and appeared in World War Z. And have you seen that hair? Number 14. Add Huisman to the increasingly long list of musically inclined actors on the show. He was the singer and guitarist in a Dutch band called Fontaine in the early 2000s, before branching off and becoming a solo artist. Number 15. Tommen Baratheon was also recast, now being played by Dean Charles Chapman rather than Callum Wari. Chapman actually appeared on the show already as Martin Lannister, Tommen's cousin, just last season. Identical cousins? We're pretty sure there was a Full House plotline that went something like this, though with less incest. Number 16. The Mountain was recasted again. As of this season, he's being played by Icelandic strongman Hafthor Julius Bjornsson, and I really hope I said that right because I don't want him coming after me. Number 17. Remember how we told you Nikolai Coster-Waldau absolutely hates wearing his armor? Well, this season, his armor is made of real brass, which actually made it even more uncomfortable than the previous seasons when it was fake. Number 18. Maybe that explains why Gwendolyn Christie's nickname for Coster-Waldau is Princess. Number 19. What's new and exciting with Bran this season? Well, actor Isaac Hempstead Wright is now wearing a wig for the part, whereas it used to be his real hair. Number 20. New to the cast this season is Pedro Pascal as Oberyn Martell. Upon the announcement of his casting, the producer of the show that he had previously appeared on contacted Martin just to tell him how good the actor is, so they knew they were in good hands. Can't say the same about Pascal, though. Number 21. Michelle Clapton, the show's costume designer, based Oberon's clothing on none other than the legendary guitarist Jimi Hendrix. Oberon was always a rock star in our book. Number 22. Recognize Tycho Nestoris from the Iron Bank? That's Mark Gatiss, or Mycroft Holmes from Sherlock. He also co-created the show and writes for both it and Doctor Who. Number 23. Hannah Murray, who plays Gilly, was bumped up to main cast this season. Benioff and Weiss told Murray to read about the Austrian Joseph Fritzl to prepare for the part. Fritzl was sentenced to life imprisonment after holding his daughter captive for 24 years and sexually abusing her. Yikes, not the most desirable thing to be told to base your role after. Number 24. Who's the biggest diva on set? Apparently it's Sir Pounce, Tommen's cat. Cogman said that Sir Pounce is important to differentiate Tommen from Joffrey, showing the former in a much friendlier light. Yet filming with a cat wasn't quite as nice for the people involved. Number 25. This season, German special effects company Pixomondo based the movements of Daenerys dragons off of chickens, which I guess is fair if it's the closest thing we have to dragons in real life. Number 26. The production team didn't return to Morocco, instead shooting Daenerys' scenes in Croatia. This knocked the span of their foreign countries down to just 3, including Northern Ireland and Iceland. Number 27. As with the season 3 episode Walk of Punishment, Two Swords was directed by both Benioff and Weiss, yet only one could be credited. Since Benioff got the credit last time, Weiss got the credit this time. Number 28. Game of Thrones tends to be barbaric all on its own, but one scene in Two Swords was actually inspired by the 1982 movie Conan the Barbarian, the forging scene. It was filmed in an actual working forge in 700-degree heat. Number 29. Actually, the blacksmith was played by longtime Game of Thrones weapon master Tommy Dunn. Number 30. Who else cameos in this episode? The people behind it all. Benioff's parents. Stephen and Barbara Benioff played the older merchant couple that passed the characters outside the Dornish embassy. Number 31. The armor that Brienne receives from Jaime this season was actually so heavy that Christy started taking Advil to ease the pain of wearing it. Number 32. Joffrey mentions Sir Duncan the Tall while reading the White Book of the Kingsguard. Sir Duncan was also mentioned back in season 1's episode Lord Snow and is a main character of Martin's other series, Dunk and Egg. Number 33. Jaime waving his golden hand at Qyburn was actually an improvised scene by Coster Waldo. Like Jaime, he's right-handed in real life, so he understands Jaime's pain. Number 34. Don't you hate it when your dragons bring you a goat carcass and it bounces all over the place? That's what happened with Dany's dragons. The carcass prop was made of rubber, so when it was dropped from 15 feet, it kept bouncing off its mark. Number 35. After being shot with multiple arrows last season, Jon Snow was supposed to look weak and in recovery this season. However, Harrington just finished working on the movie Pompeii, meaning he was the exact opposite of weak and in recovery. Because of this, they couldn't ever show Jon Snow shirtless, which means we're sure a lot of people are really broken up about. Number 36. Arya's fight with Polliver was originally slated to happen later on this season, but the show's creators decided to bump it up to the beginning to give her arc a stronger opening. Number 37. The scene where the Hound chugs Polliver's flagon of ale took about 12 takes, and each time actor Rory McCann had to drink the full contents of the flagon, which was water with food coloring. Even so, that can be a lot in succession, and after the final take, McCann stepped outside and threw up everywhere. Number 38. Remember when Olenna tosses the jeweled necklace over a cliffside towards the sea? Turns out the production team didn't actually own the necklace, so someone had to go get that. Number 39. Episode 2, The Lion and the Rose, was written by franchise creator Martin himself, his typical episode contribution for each season. Number 40. Martin had wanted to set the entire episode at the wedding, the same way season 2 set an episode entirely at the Battle of Blackwater. However, Benioff and Weiss resisted because they couldn't pause the other plot lines for a full episode. Number 41. The Purple Wedding, as this episode has come to be called, was actually never called that in the books the way the Red Wedding was. Instead, it's just a fan nickname named after Joffrey's wine and Sansa's jewels, which incidentally are blue in the show. However, the term has become so popular that now even the show creators and Martin use it. Number 42. Joffrey names his sword Widow's Wail, but some of the alternate names are references to other fantasy works. Stormbringer, for instance, is a reference to the sword used by Elric in Michael Moorcook's novels. Terminus is also a sword storyboard from the Book of the New Sun series by Gene Wolfe. Number 43. The visions that Bran receives after touching the weirwood tree is inspired by the style of the Devil's Tower visions in Steven Spielberg's Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Number 44. The parody performance of all of Joffrey's victories used little people to make Tyrion uncomfortable. However, expectedly, it made Peter Dinklage uncomfortable as an actor too. In a good way, he says. The kind of discomfort an actor can use to get into character. Number 45. In the books, the performers are riding on pigs, but the production crew couldn't find pigs big enough for anybody to ride on without it qualifying as animal cruelty, so they opted for fake horses instead. Number 46. The cast hadn't seen the little people in wardrobe until they were actually filming. Clapton's costumes were so impressive that the crew wanted to hold off on showing them so they could get real reactions from the camera. Number 47. The musicians playing at the wedding are a real band. It's Icelandic post-pop group Sigur Rós making a cameo. Number 48. The band was actually pelted by prop coins made of rubber, and one of them hit the band members right in the forehead. It actually injured him. Number 49. Jack Gleeson nabbed one of the coins, which had Joffrey's profile on them, as a souvenir. I mean, come on, wouldn't you want a coin with your face on it? Number 50. For each time Gleeson sliced into Joffrey's wedding pie, a different set of doves were used. Number 51. Demanding his wine, Joffrey screams at Tyrion that this pie is dry. This line broke Lena Headey and Dinklage into hysterical pieces since it sounded like a double entendre. Apparently, there were actual delays in production because the two of them could not keep their shit together. Number 52. At long last, Joffrey dies this season, as everyone wished. Literally, everyone. Even Samuel L. Jackson confronted Benioff and Weiss at Comic-Con and went on for 5 minutes about how terrible Joffrey is and how he should be killed. We hope his rant involved striking down upon him with great vengeance and furious anger. Number 53. Unfortunately, this was the least viewed episode of the season with only 6.31 million viewers. Number 54. Martin based Joffrey's death off of the real-life death of King Stephen's son, Eustace. Like Joffrey, Eustace choked to death, yet it was unclear whether he really choked or if he had been poisoned by one of his father's enemies. He says that this ambiguity is what Joffrey's assassinators were hoping for, not realizing that Cersei would jump so quickly to murder. Number 55. Gleeson played Joffrey's corpse in Breaker of Chains, and by play, I mean he pretty much got to lie there the whole day and get paid for it. However, maybe the fact that his parents are having sex right next to him sort of makes it less worth it. Number 56. Sometimes you gotta get creative with your prop work. For instance, when Jojen was having a seizure in Caster's Keep, it's scrambled egg whites coming out of his mouth. Number 57. Game of Thrones references a lot of medieval fantasy, but there's one you may have not expected. When the Myronese champion is yelling at Daenerys, his low Valyrian actually translate to French knights' insults from Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Your mother is a hamster and your father smells of elderberries. Number 58. Pascala said that one of the most memorable moments of filming was how one of the actresses playing a prostitute during the orgy scene never put on her robe in between takes. Apparently, it was a long day of filming and the actress would even stay nude during her breaks. Number 59. This episode contains one of the most controversial scenes during the show's run, that being of Jaime's alleged rape of Cersei. In the books, the sexual encounter is very obviously consensual. In the show, it's more ambiguous whether it is or it isn't. However, the actors and directors both seem to stand by the fact that it was written and played as consensual. Number 60. Jaime and Bronn's sparring match actually takes place on a concrete patio belonging to a rich man in Croatia. The art department had to make it look more setting appropriate, which meant painting each individual stone tile and adding fake coastal rocks. Number 61. The scene at the end of Oathkeeper of Craster's baby being turned into a White Walker hasn't appeared in any of the novels so far. That means that for once, the show viewers got a leg up on book readers. Ha! Take that, people who read. Number 62. In First of His Name, Lysa gives Sansa lemon cakes before suddenly going full psycho and accusing her of having sex with Baelish. The scene required multiple takes, so each time, Sophie Turner had to eat another lemon cake on camera. Number 63. The scene from The Law of Gods and Men when Hizdahr zo Loraq begs Daenerys to let him give his father a proper funeral was added to the show. Cogman says that the scene was inspired by the Greek tragedy Antigone. Number 64. Given all the buildup, it was surprising that Yara Greyjoy's rescue attempt ended so quickly and anticlimactically. Cogman says that this was the whole point. It was meant to be a takeout for the audience, and for Yara too, as she intended for it to be huge and epic. Number 65. Originally in this episode, the mutilated remains of Theon's genitals were going to be shown during the bath scene. However, Benioff and Weiss decided that we didn't need to see that. Number 66. The production team wanted a perfect direwolf-shaped piece of bread for hot pie, so rather than bake them all at once until they came out out well, they actually made 70 loaves, all at once, and they picked the best from that literal crop of bread. Number 67. Kate Dickie, who played Lysa Arryn, is afraid of heights. Ironic that Lysa dies by being pushed out of a moon door. Also unfortunate for Dickie, who had to dangle on a harness a fair ways off the ground in order to film her death scene. Number 68. Benioff and Weiss specifically picked Barry McGovern to play the dying farmer that talks to Arya and the Hound. McGovern has also appeared in several stage productions of Samuel Beckett's Waiting for Godot and was in the film adaptation of it. The dialogue in that scene is meant to reference the play, so his role just furthers that illusion. Number 69. Mockingbird was the most viewed episode of the season with 7.2 million viewers tuning in. Number 70. In The Mountain and the Viper, Littlefinger seems to foreshadow the deaths of 3 major characters. He tells Robin, people die at their dinner tables, they die in their beds, they die squatting over their chamber pots. Everyone dies sooner or later. Joffrey died at a dinner table, and Shay ends up dying in her bed, and Tywin died squatting over his chamber pot. Never doubt Littlefinger. Number 71. When Pascal took the role of Oberon, he knew right from the start how it would end. Apparently, the creators told him 3 easy steps to getting his head crushed. First his teeth, then his eyes, then his melon head. And just like that, all the dreams of the viewers were shattered. Number 72. To practice using a spear that was a foot taller than him, Pedro Pascal bought a curtain rod from Home Depot and used that. Number 73. Tyrion's cousin, Orson Lannister, doesn't actually exist in the novels and was made up for the show so that Tyrion could muse about the random nature of death. The scene, which lasts 4 minutes, is often brought up when the showrunners say they didn't have time to get certain plot lines, yet they still made up a bug-crushing cousin for Tyrion to monologue about. Number 74. The costumes of the wildlings that are south of the wall are actually the same ones as the north of the wall. They just flip them inside out. Number 75. There isn't just history between Oberon and the Mountain, there's history at the set location. It was a hotel called the Belvedere in the 1980s that was bombed and abandoned. The set dressers actually had to clean the graffiti off of it before it could be used. Number 76. If you were to say that the Mountain crushed Oberon's head like a watermelon, that wouldn't be a total exaggeration. A crushed watermelon was just one of the sound effects used to bring that scene to life. Number 77. The Watchers on the Wall was directed by Neil Marshall, who had previously directed the other Big Battle solo episode, Blackwater. Guess he's the specialist in that very specific type of episode. Number 78. Neil Marshall makes a cameo in his own episode as one of the archers. Apparently archery is actually a hobby of his. Number 79. Marshall was nominated for the 66th Primetime Emmy Awards for Outstanding Direction for a Drama Series for this episode. Number 80. The 360 shot of the Battle of Castle Black took 2 hours to block out, and 7 takes to get the 360 shot perfectly right. Ultimately, the first one was used in the final cut since it was actually the smoothest. Number 81. Unlike in the show, Pip and Gren don't actually die in the books. The creators decided to kill them off this episode to show the cost of the battle and to have dramatic impact that resonated with the audience. Number 82. For her kissing scene with Samwell, Murray intentionally didn't kiss back. She figured that Craster never kissed her, and she probably had never seen outside of his keep, so it'd be really weird for Gilly when Samwell just smashes his mouth all up on hers. Number 83. The production team couldn't get the spy owl that Fen wargs into land on the right mark. They went at it for 2 hours until the director was about to give up and go for a CGI owl. At last, out of fears of being replaced by computer imagery, the owl finally got it. Number 84. Ollie isn't in the novels, they wrote him into the show. He was originally going to appear in 1 episode until writer's assistant Dave Hill recommended that he join the Night's Watch and that he be the one to kill Ygritte. Needless to say, Hill is now a full-time Game of Thrones writer. Number 85. The giant Dongo was called Dongo the Doomed on set due to his unfortunate counter with the point end of an arrow. Dongo is, or was, played by Ian White, who has also played a White Walker and the Mountain back in season 2. Number 86. What's the connection to the French Connection? The scene where Jimmy Doyle shoots Nikolai was inspired by Dongo's fall after being shot. Number 87. The other giant is played by Neil Fingleton, also known as UK's tallest man. He stands at 7'11". Number 88. Ygritte's arrows are all CGI as the character fires them far too quickly for actor Rose Leslie to actually do it for real. She just mimics the action and they add them in later. Number 89. When Ygritte dies, the production team wanted to show Jon Snow's point of view on the whole situation. To achieve this, they used slow motion, something they employ very sparingly to lessen the cheese factor, and had Leslie re-record her lines, gasps, and breaths so they could be played cleanly without any battle sounds blaring in the background. Number 90. Her death was the last scene that Leslie filmed. She's thankful for that, since she would have found it difficult to go back to filming regular scenes after it. Number 91. As a souvenir, the crew gave Leslie Egret's bow with a plaque on it that said "Kissed by Fire." Number 92. The opening of the episode The Children was inspired by the film Point Blank. Director Alex Graves modeled the scene of Jon Snow making his way towards Mance Rayder after the scene where Lee Marvin makes his way down a corridor. Number 93. There's another classic movie reference, this time Citizen Kane. It's the shot where Jon Snow lights Egret's funeral pyre, then steps in front of the show. That's an allusion to Orson Welles walking downstage into a shadow. Number 94. Ever wonder why Brienne and Podrick lose their horses? Because it's not all Podrick's fault. As it turns out, you can legally import horses from Northern Ireland into Iceland, where that scene was shot. So to remedy that, the horses just wandered off in the night. Number 95. One of the notes in the script for The Children pointed out that Brienne and Arya are both weirdos, but they like each other. Number 96. When the Hound grabs Brienne's sword with his bare hands, it's an allusion to the 1995 film Rob Roy. In that movie, Liam Neeson does the same thing during a climactic sword battle. Number 97. The song in the background as Tyrion kills Tywin is The Rains of Castamere. It was also the song that played at the Red Wedding before the slaughter. A song all about Tywin's victory, now played over his embarrassing death. Number 98. The Children aired on Father's Day in 2014, leading to an onslaught of memes about Tyrion killing Tywin that episode. Number 99. Bjornsson, who plays the Mountain, was exhausted from all of his stunt work and from being so massive or whatever that he kept falling asleep during the scene in which Qyburn is examining his body. They had to wake him up repeatedly though, as his snoring kept overpowering Heady's lines. Number 100. The Children got Benioff and Weiss nominated for an Emmy for Outstanding Writing for a Drama Series. Number 101. In addition to the ones we've already mentioned, this season had a handful of notable differences from the novel. For one, they cut out Lady Stoneheart completely. In the book, Stoneheart is Catelyn Stark resurrected by a disciple of the Lord of Lights who is out for revenge. Number 102. Another big one is the death of Jojen. In the books, he actually hasn't died. Number 103. In the books, Ramsay Snow is only seen from other people's perspectives, so in all the interactions between him and Roose Bolton are fabricated by the show. Maybe in an attempt to make Ramsay seem like more than a horrible, sadistic flaying machine?
She's turning into a lovely evening.
Number 104. This one was controversial. In the books, Jaime revealed to Tyrion that Tywin lied about his old flame Tysha being a whore and that she was actually a perfectly normal girl. This creates friction between Jaime and Tyrion and fuels his desire to murder Tywin. The show omitted this, having the brothers end on good terms instead. Number 105. Want us to ruin dragons for you forever? Turns out, for the sound of their screams, the audio team uses, among other things, the sounds of tortoises mating. Number 106. Remember what we said earlier about having nothing you hold dear being sacred? Unsurprisingly, season 4 brought the highest body count of any thus far with 182 deaths. Number 107. Season 4 received monumentally positive attention, currently holding the highest score of any season on Metacritic. On Rotten Tomatoes, it has the second lowest of any season, but the second lowest is 96%, so you've got nothing to worry about. Thanks for watching Cinematica's 107 Facts You Should Know About Game of Thrones Season 4. Which death shocked you the most this season? Sound off in the comments, and if you liked this video, be sure to check out some of our other 107 fact videos by clicking the annotations or links in the description. We have a new video dropping every week, so let us know what you want us to cover next. And if you love getting more from your movies or TV shows, subscribe to Cinematica, where we help you watch smarter.